Hello, everybody, and welcome to the weekly mastermind. I am going to record this section of our call because I had some requests for walking through kind of how I do scans. I had shared this past week about running a scan on my son who is starting to have some sore throat issues. And what do you need? Yeah, I'm in the middle of a recording. Can you tell me what you need? Okay, you already gave us. Let's go to bed. All right, sorry for the interruption. Hopefully we won't have any more. But I had posted this past week, my son woke up, he had a little bit of a sore throat, and I have been running scans on us every morning with the multi-scan feature, which if you aren't using it, it's absolutely amazing. It's a very easy and quick way to scan a bunch of your family or friends or clients or whatever, the vitals and comprehensive. So it scans and then it automatically sends the optimizations to them based off of what's imbalanced in their body. So it's super, super helpful. So I've been running that every single morning on my own family. And after I ran it, John had woken up and he said that he had a little bit of a sore throat, which honestly, he has sore throat like every morning he wakes up, kind of like me with the dry weather and all of that. So I looked at his scan and I took pictures of just some things that popped out at me for his scan and had posted that. So that's kind of what prompted and why I'm doing this recording for this mastermind and gonna walk you guys through this. So if you can see here, we're on my profile, and I'm gonna just walk you through how I actually run a scan and then walk you through like reading the scan. So I always start with going to the quick scan and I do a 30-second clearing and shielding. Sometimes I have the sound on and I can hear it. Sometimes I don't. Right now I have my tab muted because normally I am broadcasting frequencies. The clearing and shielding and EMF shield frequencies just help to clear any frequencies from your body that aren't beneficial, anything that's not yours, just kind of gives you a nice little reset. And then the shield helps to just kind of protect your body. And then the EMF shield is kind of another layer of protection from non-native electromagnetic fields. So I run each of those as a little bit of a like start to a scan for myself when I'm doing them individually. I don't do this whenever I do the multi-scan. I'm gonna walk you through an easy scan. But what else did I want to mention? Brain left me. I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, when you're working with clients. So if this is something that you're using to support your clients as well, I always start this with a client. I'll do myself before I meet them. And then whenever it's time for us to start their scan, I will clear and shield them and do an EMF shield. I even do this on clients that are just getting reports. I have a client in Australia that she orders reports for herself and her son on occasion. And so I start with this just to kind of clear any energy for them, and then I run the scans just to get a slightly more accurate read. I mean, it's accurate either way, I swear, but just as a little, this is my process. And then while we're here, just a reminder, these are the areas where you can scan your supplements without doing a full scan, like a full easy scan. But you can do your supplements, and then these 3-minute boosts are absolutely amazing. They're recommended to listen to with headphones because there's a binaural aspect, but they definitely help with exactly what they say: supercharger, focus, relax, grounding, and neural aerobics. That one's good for like brain health and memory. All right, so I'm just gonna run an easy scan. You can also, I'm actually gonna break these up. Sorry, I'm changing my mind. I'm gonna run the inner voice and I'm gonna kind of walk you through like what I say, even like if you're using this with clients or if you're just kind of needing a refresher of how this works. My name is Emily Mailer. Today is Monday, December 30th. It is 8:41 in the evening, and I am running a scan to show people how I walk through things. So that's kind of what I say when I do my inner voice scan. And then of course this one takes less than a minute. But this report is so helpful just to look at like the patterns quickly and get those suggestions that are needing support. As well as there we go. As well as listening to the audio. So last week I showed you guys the inner voice spreadsheet that goes over what each note indicates on a physical aspect, and how the frequencies are supporting you. And so it's so cool how amazing just listening to the frequencies in the inner voice can support you. So I ran my inner voice. I'm going to open it up here. And then just as kind of a reminder, you can do pulse tones or classic tones. Classic tones is 3 minutes for each note. The pulse tones kind of does everything in one. So you can choose 5, 10, or continuous for playtime. And then these gray sections here are what was out of balance, and the ones in the colored boxes are the balancing notes. You can play with these settings, or you can just hit pulse cycle. I like to hit auto mix because these will shift to like whatever I'm kind of needing in that moment. I do typically lift this one up a little higher. There are specific drum notes that I don't super care for, so I will sometimes change that. But anyway, you can play with that to whatever you would like. Another quick refresher, the numbers are what you want to look at, not so much the actual level of how high everything is, which all of it does indicate a specific thing. But the numbers are a quick look. So this 14.9 and this 12.6 are way further than anything else. So my two top frequencies are the ones I'm going to want to kind of really hone in on, because they're the ones that are most out of balance, where you can see the rest are kind of all within the 2, 3, 4 range. The 6 is a little bit higher, but it's still kind of, it's a lot lower than, a lot closer together than 12 and 14 are from everyone else. And then real quick, looking at the emotions. I don't always look at the emotions. I know that's what this whole report is about, but I love the physical aspect. So there's some bacteria, some hormone stuff going on, some food sensitivity to soy, mucosa, thyroid, kidneys, digestion, large intestine, and of course, nice suggestions. I like to look at the suggestions and see what's recommended the most, and kind of start there. There's vitamin A, 12, and D, some parasites, some brain, spine issues, more digestion, endocrine, and respiratory, some more vitamins, biosecretion with the gallbladder, liver function, smog. I think what I did today if I was outside. It's not really, I went outside, but not very long. Parasites, mold, liver, nervous system, and large intestine. So definitely lots of digestive stuff, which I know I have a lot of digestive stuff going on. And then endocrine and nervous are my other kind of two big ones. The endocrine, thyroid, hormones, all of that. And then my lungs, bacteria, hormones, and some more brain stuff. I really need to get to the chiropractor. Okay, and then this is super fascinating. I can't remember. Leptin and ghrelin. I have to look later and see what leptin and ghrelin are, because I want to eat all the time, and I know that my hormones are out of whack. So that is just a quick rundown of like the inner voice. So I'm just gonna remind myself, and I'm gonna write this down real quick, that digestion is an area of focus, and hormones. So digestive and endocrine and hormones, because we're going to use that when we go to the body system scan. Okay, we'll go out here. We're going to click the vitals, and I'm going to do a scan. So when you're breaking these apart, when you do the easy scan, it does everything for you. It scans and optimizes in one fell swoop, which is why I absolutely love it. The reason I'm going to show you why I'm breaking them apart is it's kind of like a slightly advanced, if you have extra time, way to kind of target specific issues. But the one thing you want to remember whenever you're breaking these, the vitals and the comprehensive apart, is that you're going to click scan, you're going to let it run through the whole scan, and then you always want to make sure you optimize. because otherwise you're not getting those balancing frequencies for what was out of balance. Another note with this, with breaking it apart, or even if you do an easy scan, if you do an easy scan and then you come to vitals or comprehensive, you can actually optimize only every 20 minutes. Some practitioners recommend that, not all day, but like until your numbers are a little more in the green side. So that's something that I don't do because I don't have time and I lose track of time, honestly. But like when the kids are sick, that's something that I can come in and I can just, I already did a scan. I don't really need to rescan them. I just want to optimize where they were imbalanced at the beginning of the day. So I can come back in here every few hours and optimize them again, or optimize them every 20 minutes, like 1 or 2 times, and then just kind of let their bodies rest. But the optimization, what that's doing is taking all of the frequencies that was in the scan that were out of balance, and it's sending frequencies to your body to work on balancing those frequencies. So then you'll see, that's where you see like the previous scan was red and the current scan is green. Or sometimes it can adjust to the opposite. It could have been green and then it shifted to red. There's a few theories with that. One is that the body kind of took frequencies elsewhere to support something else that is now in balance. Another theory is that when you've ran the scan, it's moving frequency in your body. And so after that little bit of like exercise, essentially, it's saying, hey, like I thought this was good, but actually after some of this stuff, maybe I need a little support. So I like to look at everything just in a kind of holistic way. I don't harp on things too much. I look at the categories. As you learn to read your report more and more, you start picking up certain things, then things make a little bit more sense too. I'm going to start with classic because I'm going to look at the food sensitivities. It's recommended to look at the food sensitivities in classic. I do look at them just typically in the regular enhanced view because I really just pay attention to the red and green. What's the most out of range? You're being very loud. Yeah, you are. So again, the previous scan, all of this is one scan. I know that somebody that I've been running scans on for a while and has been using, well, whatever. I've been scanning them here and there for a while since I've gotten the software. She was looking at her report and we were discussing it, and it finally clicked for her that this was one report. This is like, it wasn't like from a previous report. All right, so we'll look quickly at these food sensitivities, and then I'm going to scroll back up and go to enhanced view. You can look at the whole report in classic view. Sometimes that takes a little bit of the struggle out of reading it for some people. I don't always pay attention to the numbers when I'm looking at enhanced. So anyway, just the way my brain works. That's super annoying. So the reason I said that was because yogurt is out of balance, and that's like literally what I eat multiple times a day. So my body's probably telling me to like take a step back. And I literally was gonna eat some before I started this call and chose not to because I didn't have time. Anyway, so you can see that dairy can potentially be an issue. The frequencies are supporting it some, so it's not a massive issue that I harp on, but something that I know I'm aware of. You can look at the frequency, the different things here. There's a double red of apricots. What you're really trying to focus on is the double reds. So apricots, millet grain. You can see there are a few other grades, but most of them shifted in. Carob. There's chocolate chips on my yogurt every day. So some beans, some beef was out of balance but shifted. Some seafood, lots out of balance, but most of it shifted. A couple of nuts that shifted. Chia seeds. So most of these are shifting, which is good. There's parsley and sage, which I didn't have sage, but I did have parsley in my soup yesterday.
Emily,
Yes.
I ask a question?
Mhm.
You probably, I know you said this, but are you in Inner Voice?
I moved to Vitals. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're in Vitals. Okay,
Yes.
sorry.
I'm on the, yeah, the
I, I missed that.
that's okay.
Okay,
Vitals.
continue.
Yep, no problem. And this is the classic report. So anyway, you guys can kind of see like what I had there. And then I just wanted to take a note here. They added duck and quail eggs, which I thought was super fascinating and exciting because I love when they add stuff to the scanner. Anyway, one of the things that I haven't dug too deep into is the food sensitivities. I like to look just to like observe for myself and see what makes sense to me. But Becky Coots Kimberly has a really good training on this. There's so much to food sensitivities. It can change day to day because of what you're eating, because of your stomach acid, because of your enzymes in your gut and how your body's breaking down food, what vitamins and minerals. Like there's so many pieces to it. So that's why I don't really harp too much on food sensitivities. But if you do have a lot of food sensitivities coming up, um, then you want to be adding more stomach acid. So taking apple cider vinegar, um, doing a product of hydrochloric acid or something like that, because your body needs to be able to break stuff down in the stomach. Um, from the trainings that I've been doing, that's definitely been like a huge highlight that she goes over often. So I did switch this back to enhanced view. I'm gonna scroll down here to the next section. Um, and I'm just gonna kind of skim through these. Um, oh, another piece on food sensitivities is about categories of foods, so not just like vegetables, fruits, eggs, meat, but specific food foods have like histamine, high histamines or high oxalates. There's lots of like different aspects of that. And so being able to start understanding some of those things, and I have some resources in the Facebook group. I'm going to be adding some of those better into the course. But from Becky, she has a whole video on some of those. So paying attention to those two, like is it that your histamines are really out of whack later in your report, and kind of pulling the report together as a whole. And even sometimes it's not something you want to avoid, but something you want to add in because of um, like if your amino acids are off and there's some fish, they're not amino acids, your fatty acids are off and there's some fish that are coming up, that might be something you'd want to add. Or herbs like the parsley honestly would probably be good for me, the sage would probably be good for me, because we're battling a lot of crap in our house right now. Okay, so onto blood. So there's one marker there, a couple markers here for blood. Um, I know I have circulation issues. Nothing super is speaking out to me right now. My chakras are mostly aligned, which is awesome. And I always like to look at these just to see uh, what's correlating whenever there are chakras out. Same with the meridians. There's some more stomach and large intestine, but they did shift. I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now. Not gonna lie. But the governing vessel did move out, and the governing vessel has to do with the spine. So again, I likely need a chiropractor appointment. So we get into the gastrointestinal functions. I'm just kind of looking for patterns. So I know that there's some stuff going on with absorption. Um, and if you click on these, it not every single thing, but most things will tell you a little bit about what stuff is. So HSCRP has to do with the liver and inflammation in the body. So I know I have inflammation in my body. So that makes sense. Um, there's some insulin resistance stuff going on in pancreas. So that's all out of balance. The frequencies did support it, but it's something that I know that it's typically something I'm dealing with. So it's something that I can keep an eye on when I'm looking at my reports. Um, the amino acids, some enzymes. This chymotrypsin has to do with the small intestine. Calcium, sulfur, and phosphorus, liquid minerals. Nothing's definitely some vitamins. I'm needing some B support. pH balance, hydration. I know that I'm dehydrated. My bones look good. Brain nerves, optic and memory. I often have a lot of cardiovascular stuff out of balance. It typically mostly moves in, but sometimes some of these things don't. I know that I have circulation issues. Um, there's some collagen. Here's the endocrine glands. So these came up over in the inner voice report. There's a lot out of balance. They did shift with the frequencies, but just noting that, like, hey, whenever I look at different things, I know that the endocrine systems need support. And that's where I'll do a body systems report. And then also I can research like how to support the endocrine system. A lot of it's diet related. Some of it can be emotional, releasing that kind of stuff. Eye cell activity, hormones. So it's looking a lot more on like the endocrine gland aspect than the hormone aspect. The thymus, so that's in your neck, which my throat is slightly sore. There is a frequency for the thymus, so I'll probably run my sore throat frequency playlist after this call. The spleen and the appendix, those are both have to do with the immune system and the lymphatic system, as does bone marrow. It does a lot for the immune system, and then IgG for the immunoglobulin. So I know my body is fighting something right now, and it's doing its job. Kidneys look good over here. The liver is a little off. There's the bile secretion function again. So again, with the liver gallbladder, these detox things, all of those, of course, do different things. I'm breastfeeding, so that one's often out. Skin inflammation, some thyroid stuff going on. And then we get into toxicities. I don't look too much at the pollens. I know that I have sensitivities to pollens. Bacterial stuff, so E. coli, that has to do with the gut. And there is a good bit of bacteria, a good bit of fungus, candidas, shifted. I'm always fascinated when recreational drugs come up because I don't take any type of pill. Although I wonder if it's that. So my husband had got these mints that help with focus, and he gave some with to me. And anyway, long story short, they have caffeine, and my body does not handle caffeine very well. Heavy metals look good. Some molds. Parasites are pretty high. And viruses. So all of the pair influences are respiratories. Anytime herpes or herpes or hepatitis, which I'm having like slight cold sore like stuff around my lips. I really focus on the liver when those come up, because that's what they affect. And it doesn't mean that you have it, but that your liver is definitely needing support. And then a lot of you probably have seen these immune variants, these CV. These are have to do with the COVID vaccines. So if you're around a lot of people, or if you have been vaccinated, these will come up for like shedding or just different things. A lot of people that like when you're in public and stuff, often those will start lighting up a little bit more because you're around people that are shedding vaccines. Okay. So that is the vitals report. I'm going to move on to the comprehensive, and this is where I like to kind of have some fun. I'm not going to go too crazy, but I like to click combined. If you want to just see what is being affected by your emotions, you can click inner voice, and it'll pull the things that are needing support and are more of an emotional issue. If you're wanting to see what's going on physically, you can click and see like what's coming up. I'll just show you like, so my head for my arteries, my eyes, my heart, like those are all physical things. And then if we go back to, no, my computer isn't, slide back. If we go back to inner voice, you'll see that the head's not lit up. but other things might be. And those are more emotionally related. Sometimes they'll come up on both. Um, and so that indicates that it's both emotional and physical. So I always just do combined. And then I see what comes up. And then I have some specifics that I like to do. I need to post the PDF that I'm creating in the group. I don't know that I've done that yet. And I have looked up some chromosomes for specific issues. So if you're like doing research on specific things that you're dealing with, you can you can choose like the specific chromosomes that are connected with that. You can, I like to do the spine because obviously you guys saw some stuff going on in my spine. I also like to do, I don't typically focus on too many of these, but if you're dealing with specific issues, if you, I think if Annette's still here, oops, okay, if Annette's still here, some things that you could do would be to like do, on all of these different categories, do stuff related to the foot and the leg. That would help with healing some of that. She had broken her ankle. I like to do personally adrenal, the basal ganglia, the brain, and cerebral cortex function because the adrenals could always use support. My brain can always use support. Human cell and mitochondria are two that I always click. Those ones are already highlighted. Nothing else is sticking out to me other than this, the vertebrae. Anyway, I will scan this and optimize. So again, you scan, don't forget to optimize, and then you can look at the report. The database, I don't believe any of you have this highlighted, but if you do the trainings through Solex, phase 1 and phase 2, phase 1 just kind of gives you a really good overview of a lot of stuff. And then phase 2 dives a little deeper into some more things and then gives you access to part of the database. I don't regret going on to the third, but I will say the third gives you even more of the database and it's very overwhelming because it gets into pathology and very specific things. But what the database does is kind of gives you the background look of why these things are coming up and why they're out of balance. So what I do with the database is I'll look through and see how far things are from ideal, take a little bit of a note of which ones I want to look at, and then I'll look at the database, and then it will show specifically what bacteria, what viruses, what emotions, what food sensitivities, brain issues, spine issues, like all of that stuff, what is affecting the body for that specific area. So it can be quite a bit of a rabbit hole. So I don't do that very often, but it's fun to kind of have access to and look at. And once I'm done with this, I'll click optimize. And while this optimizes, does anybody have any questions at this point? I want to note, so it doesn't necessarily matter what order you do these in. Becky doesn't always move forward with the I think she always does the comprehensive, but she actually typically does the body systems, I believe, first. But I am just in my own little groove of life. So I typically do inner voice, vitals, comprehensive, and then I'll do body systems. And then I'll create custom frequency playlists based off of like what I'm seeing, or utilize the ones that I've already created. This is gonna go a little bit longer. Trying to think if there's anything else that I'm forgetting. we'll go to reports. I prefer the image report. I don't know if any of you have done a table report, but it just goes and like shows you the specific things. When they added the image report, that's all I look at. So with the image report, this percentage from ideal, you want it to be as close to 0 as possible because 0 is ideal. The further away it gets from 0, the more you want to kind of pay attention to the issue, to the things. But again, look for patterns. So if it's like one time and it doesn't pop up very often, that's fine. But if it's like this is coming up every time and it's over 30 or 40, then start kind of taking note and, doing a little deeper research. So the arteries have to do with circulation. The chromosomes, that one was kind of high. That one's really high. A side note, and don't get too freaked out when you do this. Christy had done this and I was like, oh, where'd you find that? But if you click on this little button right here, little document, it'll tell you some of the things that are related to this chromosome. So none of those stick out to me as something that I deal with. Sometimes different ones will pop up and I'm like, oh, that one makes a lot of sense. Specifically with the brain and memory, because I do have Alzheimer's in my family, 2 generations. But anyway, one had popped up for her son and she was like, oh, that's exactly like what he deals with. And I was like, that's super fascinating. All right. So the spine is 40%. So again, for me, that's like going to the chiropractor. The eyes, my eyes are pretty high most of the time. I do need to go get them checked, number one, but also we use our eyes basically anytime we're awake, we're looking at something. So they're always being used and utilized. Adding in some eye exercises, which would be like looking to the left, looking to the right, looking up, down, doing circles with the eyes, I think can strengthen some of that. Looking when you're looking at things, not especially if you're on the computer most of the day, making sure you take breaks to look far away and just kind of go with different depths of vision so that your eyes get a little bit of a break. So heart is at 38%, circulation 25, 28. So again, I know I have some circulation issues. Lymphatic, I can literally feel it in my throat. They're a little swollen. So brain nerves, nerves in the head, adrenals. Like here's where like I could be like, oh, there's cortisone. So that's like has to do with cortisol, I believe. So I could just kind of take that into account. And I know that I need to, lower different things. The basal ganglia has to do with the brain. This one's fascinating when dealing with different people. Like my son has a speech delay. So I like to look at these for him and see like, because there is a frequency for the thalamus. So I have some different like speech and talking frequencies that I have for him. Blood cells look good. Like I said, some of these they didn't like come up because I needed them. I just add them because I like to like, support my brain. Well, digestive is super bad. I don't actually know what the ileum is, but I guess there's something in there. Pancreas, the colon. See these kind of shifted out, so like that whole liver, gallbladder, bile duct aspect needed support. The human cell, large intestine, liver. This has to do with like the head, mitochondria. So my parathyroid gland, there's some cartilage. Thymus was out, but it's shifted. I'm gonna try not to get too hyperfixated on some things. So the pancreas here, 38. So respiratory, like I said, we were just like still one thing after the other, trying to pick all this stuff every time we go out in public. Everybody is sick. All right, the stomach. Thyroid is real out, so I definitely want to do some thyroid stuff. Yeah. Okay, so that's a quick look at my comprehensive. So next I'll go over here to body systems. I'm going to deselect all. Circulatory could be something I look at. Connective tissue could be. I'm going to focus on digestive, endocrine. And then I'm going to do all of hormones and chemistry too. So when you're doing the body system, it has one button to scan and optimize, so you don't have to remember to optimize. But I love this one because it also is telling you, give you suggestions for the areas that you need support. So as we've kind of seen over all of the reports, I have a lot of digestive stuff going on. And my thyroid, which is part of the endocrine system, is really out of whack, and my hormones. So that's where I'm hyperfixating, is the digestive and endocrine system. And we'll see like what it suggests on the body systems. And then I can also look at that with the inner voice too, and kind of compare and contrast those two. No, thank you. Please go in. What? I need to give you a toy. Okay, so here's the digestive system. Lots of stuff into the bathroom. That's super fascinating to me. Common bile duct. Lymphocytes. So that has to do with like the immune system. So like I said, I know my digestive system often has issues, but right now, just the fact that my immune system is fighting is throwing some things. The gallbladder meridian, so I could even go back to vitals and look at what the gallbladder meridian all includes, but of course it includes the gallbladder. And then chickenpox is a virus. And then I like to come down here to this and stimulants. I don't remember what these are. I want to say they might be bacteria. And then issues with my back. So all of those things are having an effect on my digestive system. And then these emotions: stress, devotion, happiness, arrogance, skepticism. And then these are the ways that I could improve my frequencies for my digestive system. Massage, which I don't know that I've actually gotten that for digestive before, but for me that makes a lot of sense because I know that specifically massaging my stomach would help to get everything kind of moving. Obviously hydration, enzymes, and then these specific pre and probiotics and fatty acids. My body's needing some support in those ways. I personally don't use blue. It's something I'd like to maybe take eventually, but it's something that does have contraindications. So I want to kind of check that first, and I haven't done it consistently with the scanner, nor have I gone to the doctor to get checked. So it's just a product I've chosen not to take yet. And then endocrine, you have cortisol, which had been out, connective tissue, some different things I don't know what they are. Iodine, which has to do with the thyroid, copper, a virus, another virus, and then more thyroid stuff. Lots of viruses. And this is consistent for me. I have a lot of virus stuff going on with my endocrine system. So doing antiviral frequencies, so virus detox, doing herbs and things that would support viruses would be really helpful for my endocrine system, and I need to start doing them. And then here's some emotional causes for the endocrine, and all of these check out: skepticism, self-destruction, spiritual balance, trauma from the past, self-esteem. Welcome to my life. Some ways that I could support my endocrine system: getting sleep. That would be a really great one. This week has been very bad for sleep. Colton has been waking up a lot. Again, massages. So this one I would probably consider a full body massage, or even massaging the areas where the endocrine glands are. So massaging the neck and the thyroid area, massaging over like the pancreas, and just giving your body like a good massage. Eating more protein, enzymes, fulvic and humic acid. So this is trace minerals. So I personally do have the gold, so I can take the gold. I could do my salt. So those are different ways that I could support my endocrine system. Saying this to all of you guys and speaking out loud, and maybe it might shift so that I actually do support my body. This is the hormone one. A lot of people get tripped up on this. They aren't really sure how to read it. I don't have a lot of information for you, but I do know that if it's above 40 or below 40, you want to pay attention. So this one, and again, patterns. So if it's not out all the time, that's okay. This is the one that's contraindicated for the blue. So because this is out, like, and there's a whole system to test it with the software. Because it's out, like, I just don't know that blue would be good for me. Some of these I've never seen out before. But again, looking for patterns. I know that I'm under the weather right now too, so that doesn't help. Specific time of day. When you're looking at hormone stuff and looking for patterns in certain areas, you want to be scaring yourself around the same day, kind of similar situations, like before you eat, that kind of a thing, first thing in the morning. And then this one is newer. I believe they added that this fall or summer, the chemistry report. It just gives an in range or out of range. So it's either high or low. So again, lymphocytes. Oh, that's new. That's new. Now I have to go click on others. This is the only one to click on. So lymphocytes, this helps to destroy toxic products of protein metabolism. So again, I know I'm sick. I'm fighting something. Neutrophils, MCV, all of those have to do with fighting stuff, or I believe MCV is hydration. Looking at those quickly. There's some more thyroid stuff, T4, T3. There's stuff not processing in my body correctly. Iron and ferritin, I know that those are issues. So anyway, again, utilizing this report is kind of like a, hey, what do I need to work on? So for me, a lot of it is that digestive endocrine, seeing there at the end the iron, maybe working on some circulation iron stuff. And all of that also has to do with the digestion and the endocrine system. The iron isn't just a by itself thing. There's a lot of cofactors and pieces to it. So being able to pull that all together is nice. Using Cephi to create playlists. I love to do the AO2 whenever I remember, especially for the organs, because there's stuff for the adrenals, there's stuff for the kidneys, there's stuff for the pancreas, the stomach. So there's a lot of areas that you can kind of hit with the AO2, and you can just listen to those, or you can just click imprint, and they changed words because all of it basically does the same thing. But you can imprint the tuning forks into water, into your rings. You can hit imprint and it will broadcast it to you. You can listen to the actual tuning fork. And even I like to kind of look at these, like the planetary and chakra ones, because they go into explaining a little bit. You good? Like this one, Sedina, this one's for ATP production and oxygenation. That one for me would be good. I saw my mitochondria, the ATP was out of balance. So kind of getting a little curious about some of these and looking into a little bit more about specific aspects of it can be super helpful. This one improves the nervous system. Anyway, I get lost. I could spend like literally my entire day working on this just for myself. Okay. Does anybody have questions? And if you don't have questions, I'll stop the recording and we can talk for the last 10 minutes, whatever you would like to do. Thoughts, comments? Was this helpful? Anything else you would like me to demonstrate for you?
I've been so pressed in time. I've just been doing easy scan and I forgot about all this stuff.
I understand. I get lost in that too, because there's so much to it. So yeah, that's for me. I broadcast every single day and I've been running the multi-scan every day. And that's kind of the extent. Last week when everyone was pretty sick, I was like, all right, like pull out the Cephi and do it more than just in the morning and try to like look at what else is going on. But the time piece is a struggle. So I totally understand that.
Yeah. That was a lot of information, so I'm going to have to play with it, and then I'll have questions.
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then